Hi everyone, this is Neel Raithatha, also known as the Wax Whisperer. Thank you for joining me in my latest video. We have here a patient who attended with bilateral, medially impacted, very dry, crusty, dead skin and earwax. And I'm just commencing with this there right here first. I'm using a fine end suction probe because sometimes when you suction dead skin, you can experience clarinetting. Clarinetting is when the skin, as you're suctioning it, it violently flaps the tip of the suction probe. And that flapping emits a very loud, high-frequency squeal, which is loud not only for the patient, but for myself too. And therefore, a fine end suction probe reduces, if not completely sometimes, eliminates the clarinetting. And a fine end is the internal diameter of the fine end suction probe is about 1 millimeter. In comparison, the standard Zollner suction probe that we typically use, the internal diameter is around 1.7, so it's almost half the diameter of a standard Zollner suction probe. And when we're working on the eardrum as we are here, the fine end comes into its own. It's because it's a narrower tip, it provides you more precision, accuracy, and if you do come in contact with the eardrum, it's less likely to cause any physical trauma. So we've cleared the patient's right ear. There's sort of a bit of dead skin that I just removed off the posterior superior quadrant, and I'm just going back to see if the tail end of that skin peels away. And I'm just coming down slowly. I've got to be careful of the ear canal to the right. I just don't want to bump into that because that would be uncomfortable for the patient. You may have seen I've slightly bent the tip of the suction probe here. It's got a little kink there, just to trying to avoid the front part of the ear canal. And so this is just another layer of skin on the eardrum. So this skin that I'm removing was once the main layer of skin on the eardrum, and this skin has since died and shed, and it's been replaced by another layer underneath, and it's pushed this dead layer to the surface, and it will naturally migrate, but I was just giving it a helping hand there. So I'm just working now on the front part of the ear canal. This is a cartilaginous portion, the outer third, so we can put a bit more pressure on this part. When we encroach into the bony part of the ear canal, the osseous section, the inner 2/3, then we've got to be extremely cautious. We don't want to put too much pressure on the canal wall because it will be uncomfortable. I think I'm just going to go to the roof, just peel this. This is the tail end of some dead skin. Now this patient does suffer from chronic dead skin buildup, so no doubt they'll be back in about a year. It's kind of a perennial treatment that we offer for the patient, and the telltale symptom for the patient is that the hearing aids, so they wear hearing aids, they begin to whistle, they begin to feedback. So again, I'm just going to hover over here. I think I'm going to re-enter now. I've just got to be careful because this skin is coating the hammer bone, so we don't want to be touching the hammer bone because again that will be uncomfortable. So I'm just going to hover over. If it comes away, brilliant. If not, I'm going to leave it. It's not the end of the world if we can't get this. I'm quite pleased with how much we've got out already. So feedback is when the sound that's amplified by the hearing aid enters the ear, it hits the wax or dead skin in this case, and that sound is reflected back out of the ear canal and it re-enters the hearing aid microphone. So the hearing aid re-amplifies that sound again, and once more that sound is amplified into the ear. The sound hits the wax or the dead skin. Once more it's reflected back out of the ear, and you can see we've got this vicious cycle. The hearing aid continuously re-amplifies the same sound over and over and over again, and that leads to acoustic feedback, and there's an audible high frequency squeal and whistle. Sometimes patients ironically can't hear it themselves because of their a lot of patients, the majority of patients who wear hearing aids have a high frequency hearing loss, and feedback is normally in the higher frequencies, so sometimes patients are completely oblivious to it because the hearing aid may not even amplify those higher frequencies to the level where the patient it's audible for the patient and usable hearing. So it's friends and loved ones, people around them that are normally the ones that first detect it. So this is their left ear. It came away a bit easier, but once more that skin is very deep. It was right up against the eardrum. So it may well be that the patient wearing the hearing aid is not allowing the skin to naturally migrate because they wear a mould, a custom earpiece, and it's quite a deep fitting mould. So as the skin's trying to migrate out of the ear, which it normally does for the majority of us, the earpiece, the mould, is preventing it from fully escaping. And in fact, it's doing the opposite. It's in some way impacted it and pushing it further in. So just some of the cartilage portion, just going to see if I can peel that away. Otherwise, I'm really pleased with all the skin that we removed. The patient's hearing had improved, and importantly, the hearing aid no longer whistles. So their wife's going to be extremely happy. So just go around the perimeter. It comes away brilliant. If not, I'm not overly concerned once more. So they have got a very dry ear. They do use some medical grade olive oil spray on a regular basis just to try and hydrate and lubricate the ear canal. So this is just a bonus clip that I'm just adding. It's a very short procedure. Rather than not use this procedure and deleting it from the archives, I thought I'll just add it on at the end as a bonus. So a patient here, this is more soft wax, quite deep in the ear. They had been using hydrogen peroxide based drops, and they've been tilting the head over. So one of the things that I've discovered, and with drops, people use drops, is, and the instructions not very clear, but patients install the drops into the ear and they tilt the head over, and sometimes overnight. So all that's happening in that case is that the drops are softening the wax or the skin, and because the head's tilted across, the soft wax and skin dribbles further down towards the eardrum and can get impacted. So whenever you use drops, allow it to penetrate and soak, of course, for about 5 minutes. Tilt your head over so the drops enters your ears, and then after 5 or 6 minutes, tilt your head in the opposite direction. You want to drain the drops, and you're hoping when you drain the drops from your ear, any wax that's become softened also comes out of the ear. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Take care, keep well, and speak soon. Bye.